I don't know when, but Zhu Jiangjiang became a useless person who couldn't learn anything and couldn't do anything. Being kicked out of the house by my stepmother. Don't resist. My best friend pried into her corner. Don't resist. After finally coming out to work, she brings tea and water every day. She does dirty and tiring work, and comes with a promotion and salary increase. She pays for every afternoon tea. All of this is because of the sentence I heard on my 16th birthday: evil has arisen in the past, and difficulties have borne fruit in this world. All plans are in vain, the flower letter will be lost. Until the day before my 24th birthday, a magical app appeared on my phone. As long as you light up 10 merit points, you can dream of prophecy fragments within a specified 24-hour period. With these prophecies, Zhu Jiangjiang repeatedly avoided death. If asked what life dreams Zhu Jiangjiang has, he would definitely answer without hesitation. Live to 88. Keywords of the novel. After landing at a funeral home, I use prophecy to solve a case and save myself without a pop-up window. After landing at a funeral home, I use prophecy to solve a case and save myself. Download the complete text. After landing at a funeral home, I use prophecy to solve a case and save myself. Read the latest chapter. Chapter 1. Planting trees. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Planting trees. As the broadcast sounded, Zhu Jiangjiang appeared at the entrance of Channel 5 with a pair of coffins, followed closely by several mournful family members. There is no need to say hello when doing their job as an embalmer. Please turn your back and wait. As the family turned around, Zhu Jiangjiang carefully removed the lid of the coffin. Then he gestured for everyone to come forward and begin the final farewell before cremation. After the family members bid farewell and left, Zhu Jiangjiang pushed the cart to the junction, shook the handle, and transferred the coffin onto the stainless steel tracks. Close the door of the incinerator tightly, adjust the time, and start the instrument. Zhu Jiangjiang looked at the blazing flames that instantly ignited in the incinerator and felt a faint pain in his heart as he thought that it might be him who was pushed into the fire the day after tomorrow. At around 7 p.m., Zhu Jiangjiang finished the day's work through these mechanical repetitive operations, feeling both physically and mentally exhausted. She dragged her heavy legs to the funeral supplies specialty store in Jixiang building. The store was closed, but the door was not locked because no one would steal these things. Zhu Jiangjiang walked in like a ghost, only to see a coffin lying horizontally on the ground. The coffin is made of pine wood that has been brushed with red oil, and is made of 10 pages of wood to form a complete coffin. The top has a large head with Fu written on it, and the end has a small head with Shou written on it. The style is slightly simple but dignified, making it the most popular style in recent years. She deftly pushed open the cover and lay down inside. The scent of pine lingered around her nose, and the velvet cushion was very soft. In a daze, Zhu Jiangjiang's thoughts returned to the past. That day, she rescued a monk who had been bitten by a snake in the mountains. Grandma is a famous snake medicine person in the mountains. The monk was fine soon, but before leaving, he said some strange things to her. Evil has arisen in the past, difficulties have come to fruition in this world, all plans are in vain, and flowers will be lost. Zhu Jiangjiang didn't believe it at first, but the monk said that Grandma was going to die tomorrow. Indeed, on her 16th birthday, Grandma died. The monk said that her parents regarded her as a burden, and she was kicked out of the house by her family as soon as she returned to Qinglong, ranked among the top in high school but was dropped out, worked part-time to get into a desired university major but was transferred. There are countless unfortunate events like this, which perfectly corresponds to the statement that all attempts are in vain. In the end, Zhu Jiangjiang finally decided to lie flat. According to the monk, she was going to die on the day she turned 20.4. Zhu Jiangjiang only hoped that she would die peacefully and comfortably the day after tomorrow. The sudden continuous vibration of the phone interrupted Zhu Jiangjiang's wandering. She had to take out her phone and open it to find an inexplicable software on the desktop. The image of the software is a pure black square without a name, looking like a virus software. Zhu Jiangjiang dragged it a few times, wanting to delete it. Unexpectedly, this picture was like a dog skin ointment, tightly attached to the screen, unable to delete even after deleting. On the last attempt to drag the icon, Zhu Jiangjiang slipped his hand and accidentally opened the software. I heard a thunderous sound in my ear, and as the phone screen turned black, 6 simple white characters appeared on top of it: plant good causes and reap good results. Then the screen turned around, and the 6 big characters disappeared. A line of text appeared on the screen, which was a somewhat medium to 2 problem. Assuming you have the opportunity to choose, which of the following special abilities do you most want to possess? A. Invisibility ability. B. Ability to communicate with the deceased. C. Ability to see the past. D. Ability to predict the future. This way, without control, it looks more like a mobile phone virus. Zhu Jiangjiang didn't dare to randomly click, but he didn't expect that this software not only couldn't exit, but after shutting down and restarting, the page displayed on the phone was still the same. Forget it, the poor are full of courage. Thinking of his only 10-digit savings, Zhu Jiangjiang felt that playing around was not a big deal. Maybe the hacker let her go when he saw that her savings were too low. Excluding invisibility ability first, when she saw option A, all that came to her mind were thieves and voyeurs. Thinking about my job, it's really strange to see that Piao is not scared to death. Option B is a chicken rib, having no interest in archaeological history and dusty past. Option C is the chicken rib among the chicken ribs. After excluding each option one by one, only option D remains. At this moment, Zhu Jiangjiang suddenly felt a rare sadness for spring and autumn in his heart. Although I know that I may not have a future, I still can't help but think, if there is, what will be the future? It seemed like everything had its own plan in the dark, and Zhu Jiangjiang was moved by his thoughts and chose D. Congratulations, you have successfully planted a life tree. Your ability is to see future fragments within a specified 12-hour period in your sleep. Players are advised to work hard and cultivate the life tree carefully. The phone screen has turned into a bright spring image, with a bare seedling in the center that looks like a tree branch stuck on the ground. Behind the background is an endless forest. Congratulations, you have earned 10 points of merit. For every 10 points of merit accumulated, you can use your abilities once. As the prompt sound sounded, Zhu Jiangjiang saw a small seedling trembling and growing a green leaf in the center. The tender green leaves swayed gently with the breeze, slowly turning into dark green. Very cute. Zhu Jiangjiang couldn't help but poke the vivid leaf, and a prompt box instantly popped up on the screen: confirm the consumption of 1 merit leaf and use the ability once. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Prediction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Prediction. A prompt box pops up on the screen with scrolling calendar settings and usage intervals. Without hesitation, Zhu Jiangjiang chose May 31st, which is the 24th birthday. Suddenly, a wave of drowsiness struck, and Zhu Jiangjiang fell into a deep sleep. As the lid of the pot was lifted, steam emerged, and in the steamer, there was a sweet potato and half of the corn, which was the breakfast that Zhu Jiang and Jiang often had. No, 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 that's not what she wants to see. As if feeling her anxiety, the corn in the pot gradually blurred and disappeared under Zhu Jiangjiang's strong desire. Zhu Jiangjiang felt like a helpless duckweed, drifting aimlessly with the flow in the darkness. Suddenly, a violent impact hit, accompanied by severe pain all over her body. Zhu Jiangjiang's body was thrown uncontrollably into the air, and finally fell heavily to the ground. The scene ended in a bright red hue. Subsequently, throughout the entire night, the scene began to play repeatedly. Knowing it was just a dream, Zhu Jiangjiang couldn't wake up and was helplessly trapped in the cycle of death, experiencing the pain of bone fragmentation and visceral displacement over and over again. Ding-ling-ling. Ding-ling-ling. Reaching out to stop the alarm clock, Zhu Jiangjiang opened his eyes and waited for a while before finally confirming that he had finally overcome that terrible nightmare. Is it a car? This is a good solution. The location of the funeral home is in the outskirts where birds don't poop. As long as you don't run to the gate tomorrow, it should be very easy to avoid cars. Zhu Jiangjiang took out his phone and looked at it. He happened to see the news that director he had called for her to cooperate in hosting a funeral at a VIP's house in the city on the 31st. She felt a thump in her heart and immediately replied to the message asking for leave from director he. In theory, this leave should be very easy to take. After all, although co-hosting funerals does not receive a commission, the host usually gives a large red envelope to the staff hosting funerals, so there should be many people willing to replace her. No, the host requested that the staff be preferably one male and one female. Wang Manli is going to rest tomorrow, so you must go. Unexpectedly, manager he directly refused her request, which was also a good way to handle her. It turns out that the host has requirements, no wonder she said such a great thing, why did it fall on her? Zhu Jiangjiang's mind suddenly changed and he began to act weakly. Thank you, supervisor, for giving me such a great opportunity. I also really want to learn how to preside over funerals, but I have been feeling unwell these days. My stomach seems to be hurting even more today. I originally wanted to take a leave and go to the city to see a doctor tomorrow. Alas, if the supervisor really needs me, I'll stick with it tomorrow and work another day, just because I'm afraid there might be problems that could delay the funeral work. This refusal and welcome fully demonstrated the image of an honest and money-loving social animal who was unwilling to take responsibility. Zhu Jiangjiang couldn't help but give herself a thumbs up in her heart. Sure enough, as soon as he heard that there might be problems with the funeral, director he immediately changed his mind. Let me have a good conversation with the host again. Young people should pay attention to rest and not be so playful. Don't keep making mistakes and affecting work. After director he hung up the phone, Zhu Jiangjiang didn't have time to enjoy the joy of achieving her goal. The message that popped up on her phone poured cold water on her again. Notice. In order to avoid the spread of viruses caused by pests in summer, and to ensure a clean environment and create a good living environment, a comprehensive disinfection and sterilization will be carried out on the dormitory building and its surrounding areas on May 31st. Disinfection and sterilization drugs are slightly toxic. All employees are requested to stop staying in the dormitory building from 9:00 to 17:00 on the 31st day. The dormitory door should not be locked. Valuables should be stored in advance. Thank you for your cooperation. Does this god insist on killing her completely? Zhu Jiangjiang couldn't help but compare his middle finger in his heart. Seeing that it was not early, he had to quickly get up and go to work. There is still one day left. How can we arrange tomorrow to avoid a disaster? We need to carefully consider. May 31st, early morning. Zhu Jiangjiang got up early in the morning and was busy, taking a shower, brushing his teeth, putting on new clothes, and tidying up inside and outside in a clean and shiny manner. The clothes are black dull-necked tops, stained with blood but not visible. The pants are Jay's latest spring-style jeans, which cost her half a month's salary. The biggest thing is that they are sturdy enough. After all, she doesn't like too many wounds on her legs. After thinking for a moment, Zhu Jiangjiang knitted a fishbone braid for herself and neatly arranged her shoulder-length hair, ensuring that she wouldn't turn into a crazy woman due to her disheveled hair spinning 360 degrees in the air. Although it is safe to avoid cars as long as possible, everything must be prepared for the worst. What if today is the last day? Happy birthday. Taking a final look at herself in the mirror, Zhu Jiangjiang put on a hooded sunscreen suit, went downstairs, rode her bike, and set off. Today's destination is Yushan Park, which is more than 10 kilometers away, with green mountains and water, and a place to drink coffee by the lake. The most important thing is that there are no lanes in the park, which is very safe. Zhu Jiangjiang is preparing to spend a day there. The funeral home only leads to the city on a straight road, with green belts and pedestrian walkways on both sides. The banyan trees on the pedestrian walkway are lush, and you can directly reach Yushan Park along the road without even crossing the road. Zhu Jiangjiang rode on the innermost side away from the road and arrived at Yushan Park in about an hour. Locked the bicycle on the roadside, Zhu Jiangjiang wiped the sweat off her forehead, and was about to go to the small shop in the park to buy water when suddenly a little boy appeared in front of her, crying and crying. "Woo-woo, brother, where are you? Woo-woo. Child, what's wrong with you? Where's your family?" Zhu Jiangjiang walked up and asked softly. "Woo-woo, I want my brother." The little boy grabbed Zhu Jiangjiang's clothes and pointed to the opposite road. For a long time, Zhu Jiangjiang finally understood that the little boy had just stumbled and ran over the road alone. Then, because he dared not cross the road again, he squatted on the ground and cried. It can be inferred that his family should be looking for him everywhere across the street now. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Crisis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Crisis. Tong Tong, do you remember what your parents' phone numbers are? Zhu Jiangjiang asked. If she had never hesitated, she would have sent him over normally, but today the situation is special and crossing the road is absolutely impossible. Of course Tong Tong remembers. 135, 595, no, it seems to be 505. Tong Tong's fair and tender face wrinkled into a bun, pondering for a while. Zhu Jiangjiang tried making several phone calls based on the phone number he provided, but none of them were correct. Unfortunately, the child lacks patience and is unwilling to think again if she can't think of it. In the end, she can only choose to give up. During weekdays, there are very few visitors in the park, and they can't find anyone to help. Just as Zhu Jiangjiang was considering whether to call the 333 police directly or take Tong Tong to the park management office for help, Tong Tong suddenly shouted for his brother and broke free from Zhu Jiangjiang, rushing out onto the road. The bushes on the green belt are very dense, and coupled with the small size of the children, the speeding drivers cannot predict in advance. Tong Tong. At this critical moment, Zhu Jiangjiang rushed forward and caught the person. Both of them rolled off and fell into the green belt. The little white car, pressing on the brakes, narrowly brushed past Zhu Jiangjiang and rushed 3 or 4 meters before finally coming to a stop. Damn it! Cross the road without your eyes. Collision with porcelain. The white car driver rolled down the window and cursed loudly. Tong Tong, how are you? Are you okay? Have you been injured? When Zhu Jiangjiang climbed up from the bushes with a head full of grass leaves, he saw a tall and burly man nervously and excitedly picking up Tong Tong. Brother. Tong Tong was very happy to see his family, completely unaware that he had just brushed past danger. But because the driver on the side spoke harshly and realized that he might have done something wrong, he couldn't help but feel a little scared and burst into tears. Don't cry, Tong Tong. Did you fall somewhere? Does it hurt? Perhaps due to lack of experience in taking care of children, the visitors were somewhat at a loss. Zhu Jiangjiang had no choice but to come forward and help comfort them. Although the incident occurred suddenly, fortunately the two of them avoided it in time. After checking, they found that only Tong Tong had scraped his elbow, which was not a serious injury. The driver cursed a few words and saw that the two were fine. Amidst Tong Tong's repeated apologies, he could only sigh for his misfortune and quickly left with one foot on the gas pedal. Thanks to you just now, I really don't know how to thank you. If something happens to Tong Tong, I don't even know how to explain it to my aunt. Can you please add a link or leave a contact information? I will definitely thank you well someday. The man's soared eyebrows and starry eyes smiled, revealing 8 white teeth, like a 35-degree sun above his head, bright and cheerful. It can be imagined that in daily life, this is definitely a very popular person. It's just a simple matter, don't worry too much. Zhu Jiangjiang shook his head. How about I buy you a bottle of water to drink? The weather is so hot. Don't refuse me anymore. You are kind to Tong Tong. If I can't repay you, I will definitely not be able to sleep tonight. Zhu Jiangjiang walked as far as Tong Tong's brother followed. Unable to resist the man's ups and downs, Zhu Jiangjiang reluctantly nodded. The convenience store is a bit far, please wait here for a moment, I'll be back soon. The man looked happy when Zhu Jiangjiang finally stopped refusing. Zhu Jiangjiang was instructed to wait in place and then quickly left with the sleeping Tong Tong in her arms. Zhu Jiangjiang sat on the bench under the tree, holding the note that the man had forced for her, feeling a bit confused in her heart. Is it so easy to avoid death? It's really unbelievable. Please pay a fee of 20 yuan. The electronic prompt sound started, and Zhu Jiangjiang looked up before realizing it. Just now, in order to get rid of Tong Tong's overly enthusiastic brother and not distinguish direction, she walked to the parking lot in the park. At some point in that moment, she saw a red car driving into the intersection, not into the parking lot, but instead like a giant beast roaring and crashing straight at her. Yes, in my dream last night, that car was red. I don't know if I had a conditioned reflex while being tormented time and time again in my dream. Realizing that danger was approaching, Zhu Jiangjiang didn't even think and instinctively rolled onto the ground. The red car was roaring, barely able to run over her feet, flying off the bench, and hitting a tree. Boom! Before Zhu Jiangjiang could escape unharmed, the red car seemed to realize its mistake and ran over her when reversing to refuel. This time, Zhu Jiangjiang lost all her luck as the black wheel pressed hard against her leg, while her clothes were rolled up and hung on the wheel. Zhu Jiangjiang couldn't break free and was helplessly hung next to the car, dragging it out with a strong throttle, leaving bloodstains all the way. Unable to save herself, Zhu Jiangjiang only had time to embrace her head with both hands, feeling the fresh blood spurting from her legs and the piercing pain of her skin rubbing against the cement floor, feeling hopeless. All the memories of the past flashed through my mind like a lantern, and the words I heard when I was 16 years old seemed to ring in my ears. Evil has arisen in the past, and difficulties have borne fruit in this world. All plans are in vain, the flower letter will be lost. Boom! The speeding car, due to its speed being too fast, had no time for others to react and suddenly collided with a vehicle preparing to enter the parking lot. Zhu Jiangjiang narrowly got stuck in the corner of the collision between two cars. Although he was lucky enough to be saved, his life was in danger due to the 5 or 6 meter tow. At this point, the red car reignited and was ready to start again to leave the scene. Zhu Jiangjiang, whose consciousness began to blur, struggled to pull on his clothes in an attempt to rescue himself from the current predicament. But due to excessive blood loss and severe pain throughout her body, her struggle appeared particularly weak and powerless. Turn off the engine. Get off the car. Immediately. A voice containing anger sounded. Bang! With a loud noise coming, Zhu Jiangjiang felt the car move forward and immediately stop. He lifted his eyelids and slowly looked in the direction of the sound. A tall figure appeared next to the car, holding a child in one hand and pointing straight at the driver's seat in the other. The weapon in his hand refracted a dazzling light in the sunlight as the body's heat gradually dissipated. Zhu Jiangjiang weakly closed her eyes and, in a daze, seemed to hear a deep voice. The sound seemed to come from the abyss, enveloped in endless coldness and piercing coldness. July 19th. When Zhu Jiangjiang opened her eyes again, she was already in the hospital. Zhu Jiangjiang, have you woken up? A soft voice called in her ear. Could you please give me some water? My mouth is so thirsty. Zhu Jiangjiang felt a sore all over her body and a burning pain in her throat. After drinking a few sips of water from the nurse's hand, Zhu Jiangjiang cooperated with the medical staff to complete a series of examinations, and her consciousness began to slowly recover. At this moment, 2 uniformed police officers walked in. Hello, Ms. Zhu. We are police officers from Jishui Police Station. Here are our identification documents. We would like to inquire about the situation on the day of the car accident. Would it be convenient for you? Zhu Jiangjiang was also curious about who had such a deep hatred towards her, and nodded in agreement, beginning to recount in detail what had happened that day. The two police officers patiently recorded her confession and only began asking questions after Zhu Jiangjiang finished speaking. Do you still remember Wang Fangzhou? Yes, he is my high school homeroom teacher. But isn't he already arrested? Is the person who bumped into me related to him? Wang Fangzhou was the homeroom teacher of Zhu Jiangjiang during his high school years, and was also a scumbag among the scumbags. During his tenure, he used his position to harass and bully many young students. Back then, Zhu Jiangjiang had to drop out of school because he had broken his good deed and was falsely accused by him. For so many years, Zhu Jiangjiang has been secretly contacting those classmates who have encountered misfortunes and are unwilling to accept them, and has been working tirelessly. Not long ago, he finally collected enough evidence and witnesses to take him to court, nailing him to the pillar of shame. I didn't expect such scumbags to have people wanting revenge for him, which made Zhu Jiangjiang feel a bit unbelievable. The two police officers exchanged a glance and decided to speak the truth. The person who collided with you is Wang Fangzhou. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Discharge. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Discharge. How are Yi Tianqing and He Bailu doing? Didn't anything happen, did they? Upon hearing that Wang Fangzhou had escaped, Zhu Jiangjiang immediately thought of the classmates who were witnesses with her and nervously asked. They are all fine. After investigating Wang Fangzhou's escape, we went straight to Jishui and the first target of retaliation was you, said the tall police officer. Originally, Wang Fangzhou was taken into custody by the court due to his relatively old age. Shortly after, he applied for medical parole due to a heart attack. Unexpectedly, he didn't repent even after being sentenced, but instead harbored resentment towards the accusations made by everyone. Especially seen as a thorn in the eye, is Zhu Jiangjiang, who likes to meddle in things without knowing what to do. After his condition stabilized, Wang Fangzhou did not calm down and recuperate. Instead, he sneaked out after inquiring about Zhu Jiangjiang's workplace and happened to bump into Zhu Jiangjiang, who was on vacation yesterday. Wang Fangzhou has been reintroduced to prison. Don't worry, we will take the case seriously during his medical parole. He will never have a chance to come out again in his lifetime. Two police officers comforted her, and after recording the confession, they left Zhu Jiangjiang's personal belongings and left. 12 days later, Zhu Jiangjiang was finally able to remove the stitches and be discharged from the hospital. Tie up a ponytail and change into new clothes. I have lost a few pounds, and the clothes I bought according to my previous size are a bit inappropriate. The oversized T-shirt and long skirt look empty. In addition, the pale face also had two black circles under its eyes, resembling a skull. But lucky enough to save his life, Zhu Jiangjiang was already very satisfied. In this car accident, the left tibia was fractured and treated with internal fixation, resulting in extensive abrasion on the right body. So much so that she can only lie flat every night, her wounds are fleshy, itchy, and painful, she can't sleep well, and her complexion inevitably deteriorates. Zhu Jiangjiang, who had difficulty moving, went to the payment window with the help of a nurse to pay the bill, but was unexpectedly informed that all medical expenses had been advanced. After deducting all the fees, there is still 3,000 yuan left. This is 3,000 yuan in cash. Could you please check and confirm, and then sign this refund form? Zhu Jiangjiang asked for a while, only to know that the kind-hearted person who brought her to the hospital that day gave her a one-time deposit of 50,000 yuan and left without leaving any information. Checking the hospital's surveillance is a way, but the hospital's cameras are not something that can be easily viewed. To view the surveillance, you must first report to the leader above and apply. The entire process is estimated to take 2 to 3 days to complete. How about I ask the doctor who treated you that day for you another day? He may have an impression, but there are too many patients in the emergency department. I don't know if you remember what happened more than 10 days ago, Nurse Xiao Zhang took the initiative to say. Over the past few days, they have also developed a fondness for this well-behaved and polite little girl. In addition, Zhu Jiangjiang has been hospitalized for so long, and no relatives or friends have come to visit her. Everyone sympathizes with her and tries to take care of her as much as possible. That's great, thank you, Sister Zhang. Could you please? On the second day after discharge, Zhu Jiangjiang took leave and went to work. Considering the inconvenience of her legs and feet, director he specially arranged a 1-month evening shift for her. The job responsibilities of the evening shift include not only contacting clients and other civilian work, but also providing body beauty services to clients with special requirements. Compared to the morning shift, the evening shift is relatively easier and the commission is also higher. Usually, only colleagues with higher qualifications are eligible to work in the evening shift. For young and inexperienced workers like Zhu Jiangjiang, who have only just become a full-time employee after a year of work, they are not eligible to work in the evening shift. I bought powder eyeshadow and other cosmetics myself, and this eyebrow trimmer, the one that was equipped in the museum before, was broken. I bought it at my own expense. If you want to use it, please apply for a new one from the museum. Lin Enong swept a bunch of things into his makeup box, and the table paused for most of the time. With a cold snort at Zhu Jiangjiang, he left with a gloomy face. There are a total of 3 spots for the evening shift, and if someone takes over, there will naturally be someone who wants to leave. An extra 2 or 3,000 yuan per month is considered a drop in the bucket in anyone's eyes, and being criticized by others is just a small matter. Zhu, Jiang, and Jiang were already mentally prepared. Walking to the table with a cane, he took off his makeup box and filled the empty tabletop. Detang, have you ever been to a refrigerated warehouse? The assistant is a new intern named Detang, who is a chubby and round guy. He smiles with a smile on his face and looks happy. I've been there before. When Master Lin was putting on makeup, I used to go and invite VIPs for him. Could you please help me take out the tools that were disinfected yesterday? And by the way, can you push VIP 101 over to the refrigeration room? I'll go change my clothes first. Okay, Detang nodded and calmly and naturally left. Judging from his courage, he didn't seem as timid as other new interns, and Zhu Jiangjiang also felt relieved. Just as I changed my clothes, the phone rang. I didn't want to take off my gloves, so much trouble, so Zhu Jiangjiang just clicked on her earphones to answer. Zhu Jiangjiang, you've grown up and haven't even told your family about your discharge. During the days when you had an accident, Aunt Chen couldn't leave and was busy until midnight because she was worried that you wouldn't be able to sleep. Today, when she had time, she cooked soup and went to see you, only to find out that you were discharged. How old are you? Even if you don't study hard, you don't know how to be considerate to your parents. The caller was Zhu's father, who scolded him in full. Aunt Chen is too busy to leave, what about you? Zhu Jiangjiang asked. I'm on a business trip in M country. If I don't make money, where can I get food for you? Do you think your monthly living expenses and the house you live in come from? Zhu's father was stunned for a moment, as if he didn't expect Zhu Jiangjiang to suddenly ask. My family doesn't expect you to make any contribution. If you can't read well, just be honest and don't run around every day. I heard that you and a few classmates sued your high school homeroom teacher. Speaking of which, Zhu's father's anger seemed even fiercer. Hearing Zhu Jiangjiang admit that he did indeed appear as a witness in court, he roared again. In the future, it's none of your business. Don't get involved. In the past 2 days, people have been asking my daughter about her publication in the newspaper every day. It's really embarrassing. Those who don't know think you're the one being molested. Thinking about the embarrassing scenes of those acquaintances comforting him in the past 2 days when he returned to China, Zhu's father really wished to push Zhu Jiangjiang back into his mother's womb. No more embarrassing appearances in court. Stay at home for me. I asked Aunt Chen to give you some money and eat well these days. I'll take good care of my injuries. I have something else to do. Remember to go back to Zhujiangjiang for dinner on the 15th of next month. Upon hearing a beep on the other end of the phone, Zhu Jiangjiang calmly hung up. I opened my phone text message and saw that I indeed received a notification of the arrival of my bank card. Aunt Chen has always been so meticulous. She immediately takes care of what her father orders in person. So it's not her fault to stay in the hospital for more than 10 days and only come to see a doctor after being discharged. After all, she's too busy. Tisk, it's only 3,000 yuan, so stingy. But it's better than not, even the smallest mosquito is still flesh. I spent more than 40,000 yuan on this hospitalization, and I have to ask Wang Fangzhou when the compensation will be received another day. Otherwise, relying solely on her meager salary, I really don't know how long it takes to save up enough 50,000 yuan to repay her. Master Zhu, the number 101 VIP has come over. De Tong knocked on the door of the changing room. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Zhu Jiangjiang checked the sign hanging on his toes and confirmed that it was VIP 101. With the help of Tang, he sat on a high stool with a pulley and started working. The number 101 VIP is a very young woman with a beautiful face and a slender and graceful figure. At first glance, she was a delicate and beautiful woman before her death. Due to her electrocution, her whole body was covered in dark purple electric injury spots. Zhu Jiangjiang looked at her and thought about it. When she made up, she must completely cover her wounds with foundation make up, so that she could see people on the funeral day. Firstly, to rinse and clean, Zhu Jiangjiang took off the earrings and other accessories from her body one by one and placed them on a tray. Then he turned on the faucet and gently brushed his body with a wool brush. However, as he charged forward, Zhu Jiangjiang felt something was wrong. Number 101 clenched his palms tightly and finally opened them, only to find that his nails had broken quite a bit, and there were also deep scars on his palms. At the same time, Zhu Jiangjiang found that her expression was different from the usual peaceful death from electric shock, but slightly twisted. Her lips were cyanotic, and a blood mark was bitten on her plump lower lip, feeling very painful before death. In theory, most people who died from electric shock have stiff bodies and are covered in electric injury spots, which is very consistent. But because electric shock only lasts for a moment, people often have no time to react, and their bodies will become completely stiff and lose control. This cannot explain why number 101 clenched his hands and broke his nails. Additionally, when the current is high, there may be cyanosis or even blackening in the chest and back. But I have never seen someone with cyanosis on their lips. Such characteristics are more similar to poisoning. Master Zhu. Seeing Zhu Jiangjiang holding the 101st hand and charging for a long time, his expression seemed as if he had been stunned. Tang couldn't help but make a sound to remind him. Zhu Jiangjiang regained her senses, turned off the faucet, gently put down her hand, and turned around to ask. When will the funeral on the 101st be held? De Tong quickly took off his gloves and flipped through the registration form on the table. It's scheduled for June 15th, which is the day after tomorrow. Dry 101's body and put it back in the refrigerator first. Sorry, I forgot. 103 and 105 are both working earlier than her, so please serve them first. Could you please bring VIP 103 over when you come back later, De Tong? Zhu Jiangjiang said. Although I have some doubts about Zhu Jiangjiang's behavior of saying one thing at a time, as an intern, I will do what the master instructs nature to do. Tang put on his gloves and helped Zhu Jiangjiang dry her hair, carefully putting her back into the body bag and pushing her back. The following 103 and 105 were all normal. Zhu Jiangjiang forgot to pay attention to the time due to something on his mind, and all the work was completed after 9 o'clock, exceeding today's task. It's all my fault for forgetting to check the time, which has caused you to work overtime with me. Please have afternoon tea tomorrow, thank you. Zhu Jiangjiang said apologetically. It's okay, can you learn more while working overtime? I'm so stupid, Master Zhu, you're still so patient. The two bid farewell downstairs in the dormitory. Returning to the dormitory, Zhu Jiangjiang couldn't wait to take a shower and started scrolling through her phone. Zhu Jiangjiang used to graduate from forensic science, but failed the civil service exam. It was only by chance that he went to work at a funeral home. After Zhu Jiangjiang found her former professor and asked him a few questions to confirm that the death feature of number 101 was not her misjudgment, she began to feel distressed. It's not difficult to solve this matter, but what's difficult is not knowing who to turn to. If it were in the past, she would definitely not meddle in her own affairs. But since seeing the hope of survival, Zhu Jiangjiang has decided to live well. I don't like to see someone holding a grudge, so I have to find a way to solve it. Moreover, the merit leaf on the fortune tree has disappeared. Thinking of the words she heard before she fainted that day, Zhu Jiangjiang urgently needs to find more ways to accumulate merit. It took her over 20 years to accumulate 10 merit points, which is certainly related to her previous passive and lazy life, but it can also be inferred from this that accumulating merit is actually very difficult. At present, a good thing that may accumulate virtue and do good deeds collides with Zhu Jiangjiang, and he naturally does not want to miss it easily. There are many unread messages on the phone, one of which is a voice message from Nurse Xiaozhang. I asked you again today, and he said he doesn't really remember what the person who helped you pay the bill looked like that day. However, he said the person was a man, very tall, and even holding a child. Although there is no more information, when it comes to this, Zhu Jiangjiang can easily guess that the kind-hearted person who helped her pay that day was Tong Tong's brother. Sigh, I should have put the note first that day. Thinking of the note she casually held in her hand on the day of the car accident, Zhu Jiangjiang couldn't help but feel regretful. That day, after Tong Tong's brother forcefully handed her a note with his name and contact information written on it, Zhu Jiangjiang didn't look carefully because he wasn't prepared to ask for a return. He only remembered that the man's name seemed to be Shichong. After thanking Xiaozhang, he did not reply and may be working the night shift. Zhu Jiangjiang continued to pull down and opened a message for Yi Tianqing. Yi Tianqing is one of the victims of the Wang Fangzhou incident, and she still doesn't know about Zhu Jiangjiang's injury. The information says that the police have called in the past few days, asking her to find time to make up for her confession and asking if Zhu Jiangjiang has time to accompany her. Zhu Jiangjiang was worried about the issue of number 101 and didn't know how to solve it. He felt that going to the Public Security Bureau might also be an opportunity, so he agreed immediately. The two discussed and decided on tomorrow morning. You have to take a leave again, just return to work. You have a body full of tofu, and you have to rest every 2 days. As soon as Zhu Jiangjiang heard that he was going to take a leave, manager he was not surprised and flew into a rage. On the premise that Zhu Jiangjiang repeatedly ensured that he had already worked overtime and exceeded the task today, and that he would come back tomorrow afternoon to ensure that he would not delay work, coupled with the fact that the Public Security Bureau is a legitimate matter, director he reluctantly approved the leave. Remember to bring a leave certificate back to the police station tomorrow, and take multiple breaks without a valid reason. If others also need to take leave, how can I manage it? I will give you special treatment when I talk about favoritism later. He said. No problem, thank you, Director He. The next morning, Zhu Jiangjiang tied a ponytail and casually tidied it up before taking a taxi to the Municipal Public Security Bureau. After graduating from university, Yi Tianqing stayed in Zhanghe City to work, not far from Qinglong City, but it would take 1 or 2 hours to come by light rail. Zhu Jiangjiang originally planned to arrive early and could have breakfast first. Unexpectedly, as soon as she got off the car, she saw that Yi Tianqing had already arrived. "Good morning. Zhu Jiangjiang, why did your foot get injured? When did it happen? You told me earlier, I just wanted to do it myself." Yi Tianqing changed his previous gentle image, cut his hair neatly, wore a high-saturation bright yellow dress, and painted exquisite and bright makeup. He looked energetic and felt much more cheerful. As soon as they met, she noticed Zhu Jiangjiang's cane. After hearing Zhu Jiangjiang say that Wang Fangzhou was on parole for medical treatment and seeking revenge for the crime, he became even more resentful and gritted his teeth. This scumbag has the face to appeal, even if he has a heart disease, he can't be taken away. It's really a disaster that will last for thousands of years. According to theory, Wang Fangzhou's case has been settled since the court verdict was passed. However, it was unexpected that Wang Fangzhou's family changed lawyers and appealed again on the grounds that the perpetrator had a mental illness. It was only then that Yi Tianqing had to come to the Public Security Bureau to provide a supplementary statement. "Fortunately, you're okay. It used to be because you helped me cause you to drop out of school, and this lawsuit against Wang Fangzhou has nothing to do with you. If something happens to you, I will have a conscience for the rest of my life." Holding on to Zhu Jiangjiang, Yi Tianqing looked guilty. "I still managed to get into college after being expelled, and I'm doing pretty well now. Don't worry about it. It's me who doesn't like that scumbag, it's none of your business," Zhu Jiangjiang comforted. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Encounter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Encounter. After entering the Municipal Public Security Bureau, Yi Tianqing went to the recording room to make up his confession, while Zhu Jiangjiang sat on a bench in the hall. Just as Zhu Jiangjiang was struggling with how to report the incident on number 101, he suddenly saw several police officers rushing through the hall. "That's settled then. After solving such a big case, Captain, you have to treat me." Shi Chong. Double eyelids, big eyes, a bright and cheerful smile. Although his police uniform added a hint of sharpness to his aura, Zhu Jiangjiang still recognized the tall and handsome man in the middle at a glance, who was Shi Chong she had been looking for. "Miss Zhu, why are you here?" Shi Chong only then noticed Zhu Jiangjiang sitting in the corner of the hall. "Are your legs feeling better?" "I'm sorry, I originally wanted to visit you at the hospital, but I didn't expect to be arranged for a business trip after returning to the office from vacation. I heard you were discharged from the hospital just yesterday when I came back." Shi Chong asked. "A lot better, it's already disconnected. I've been wanting to find you, but I accidentally lost your contact information that day. Would it be convenient to leave your contact information again?" At the request of Zhu Jiangjiang, the two of them added each other as continuous friends. However, just after passing Zhu Jiangjiang's friend request, Shi Chong suddenly thought of something and said with a wary expression, "Oh, it's agreed that the medical expenses advanced will be my reward for you. You can't repay me." "I have this idea," Zhu Jiangjiang admitted calmly, "but I haven't had as much as 40,000 recently. I'll transfer back the deposit I refunded to you first. Can I still pay the remaining money in monthly installments?" As soon as Zhu Jiangjiang finished speaking, he saw Shi Chong with a regretful expression on his face. He raised his hand and refunded the 3,000 yuan she had just turned, and even deleted her friend. Don't, Officer Shi, are you trying to force buying and selling?" Zhu Jiangjiang quickly held down Shi Chong's hand. "The money sent out, the water poured out." Shi Chong remained unmoved. Seeing that she couldn't resist him, Zhu Jiangjiang had to find another way. "When I was helping Tong Tong, I never intended to ask for a return. 50,000 yuan is too much, and if I accept this money, it goes against my original intention. I also spend it anxiously. Okay, I still want to repay you the money, but you can repay me in a different way." Zhu Jiangjiang glanced at Shi Chong and saw that he had a look of me not speaking, so I watched as you continued to make up. He couldn't help but feel a bit frustrated, calmed down, and continued speaking. I have indeed encountered a difficult problem recently, and I hope you can help me find a solution. Zhu Jiangjiang said about the incident on the 10th. In summary, I don't think the cause of her death was as simple as electric shock, but I can't prove it. After finishing all the words in one breath, Zhu Jiangjiang suddenly regretted his hastiness when he saw Shechong being silent. This matter was already difficult to win people's trust, and she didn't know what it would be useful to come to the Public Security Bureau specifically today. She just didn't want to give up easily. Before issuing a death certificate, everyone has undergone forensic examination. Although the female corpse you mentioned died unexpectedly in front of everyone's eyes, not necessarily by professionals in public security, procuratorial and legal departments, the error rate is still very low, said Shechong. I believe in my own judgment. If you think it's difficult, let's just make another request. Zhu Jiangjiang didn't want to make things difficult for others. After all, there was no autopsy, and she couldn't guarantee that her guess was 100% correct. Alright, let me take someone with you to take a look first. Shechong quickly made a decision. When Shechong changed into casual clothes and came out, Zhu Jiangjiang just delivered Yi Tianqing, who had finished recording his confession, to the car. That's it. Next time we come over to Qinglong, we'll treat you to dinner. You're taking good care of yourself and don't work too hard at work. We had originally agreed to have lunch together, but Zhu Jiangjiang said that Yi Tianqing wouldn't force us if we didn't have time, and reluctantly said goodbye. Shechong's car was waiting on the roadside, and during the lunch break, Shechong was driving his own car. Silver Flower Field, a mid-priced business car. Although there are many things on the car, there is no odor and it is relatively clean. Sitting in the passenger seat is an elderly man with gray hair, wearing gold-rimmed reading glasses and short whiskers on his lips. White shirt, suit pants, elegant temperament. Teacher Yang. The person was originally looking down at their phone when they heard Zhu Jiangjiang's voice and looked up. Although they felt very familiar, they couldn't call their names for a moment. My name is Zhu Jiangjiang. I studied with you during my internship in Zhuke City before. Seeing Yang Belan not remembering, Zhu Jiangjiang took the initiative to introduce himself. Zhu Jiangjiang, right. Zhu Jiangjiang, I still remember you were a very spiritual child and hardworking at that time. Which company do you work at now? Yang Bolan was also very happy when he met the student he used to take care of. I'm ashamed to say that I didn't get into the civil service exam. I'm currently working at a municipal funeral home, said Zhu Jiangjiang. Funeral home. Is it the funeral home we're going to now? Yang Belan asked in confusion. Yes, it's the funeral home we're going to now. I forced Xiao Zhu to take me there, so when we arrive at the funeral home later, Dr. Yang, you need to keep a low profile and don't cause Xiao Zhu to lose his job. Shechong blinked at Jiangjiang in the rearview mirror. At this moment, Zhu Jiangjiang also understood his intention to change into casual clothes and knew that Shechong was kind-hearted, so he naturally did not expose it. The three of them were chatting and laughing, and the car quickly arrived at the funeral home. It was during lunch break, and the night shift was not as urgent as the morning shift, so everyone went to eat when it was time. There was no one in the safety hall. Zhu Jiangjiang smoothly led Shechong and the others through the safety hall and into the refrigeration room. Opening the storage cabinet, as expected, number 101 is still there, and there are no signs of anyone touching it. Due to the special location and the fact that it was not a professional autopsy, Shechong did not choose to remove number 101, but instead put on gloves and opened the body bag. The deceased was performing at a party when she was hit by a falling wire and electrocuted to death. More than 30 people watched at the party, and the doctor who issued the death certificate confirmed that she met the criteria for electrocution. It is obvious that Shechong did his homework before coming over. Yang Bolan took the gloves handed over by Zhu Jiangjiang and carefully examined them. Although he confirmed his own judgment, facing the teacher, Zhu Jiangjiang couldn't help but feel a bit nervous. Shi Chong seemed to sense her emotions and approached to inquire about the situation of number 101, for example, when it was delivered and who it was. "There's really something wrong," Yang Belan said solemnly, flipping over the hand of number 101 and gesturing for Chong to come forward and check. The deceased's nails were deeply embedded in the flesh, causing scars, and some nails even had broken marks, which do not match the electric shock injury. I did not see the painful expression on his face, and it is possible that his lips were cyanotic after a long time of death. These 2 points cannot be used as a basis for judgment. In summary, further autopsy and dissection are needed to determine the cause of death. Understood, thank you, Dr. Yang. I'll call the bureau to send a car over and take this corpse back for further examination. I'll take you back first. It seemed that he had great faith in Yang Belan, and upon hearing his words, Shi Chong made a decisive decision. Please ask Zhu Jiangjiang to pay attention to number 101 and not let anyone else touch him before he leaves first. Soon, the people from the Public Security Bureau came over and pulled number 101 away. Although director he felt puzzled, the Public Security Bureau had no room for him to voice his opinion when handling the case, so he cooperated and handed over the contact information of the number 101 and his family. At this point, the matter of the 101st has finally been settled. Although Zhu Jiangjiang was curious about the results of the autopsy on the 101st, considering that there was still a lot of work to be done, he had to restrain his curiosity and think of finding another opportunity to inquire with Shi Chong in a few days. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Keys. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Keys. When Zhu Jiangjiang sewed the last stitch together, the thread was just finished and she neatly tied the knot to finish. Bamboo branches serve as bones, while cotton wool mixed with rice milk and vulcanized latex serves as meat. The skin is supported, and the crushed arms are restored to a round and full state. Zhu ginger is sewed inside the skin, and no thread can be seen on the outside. After being covered with foundation make up for a while, these tiny flaws on the body will be completely invisible. This is a VIP who unfortunately suffered from a car accident. Just repairing the skull and face took a lot of time, so after suturing the last wound, the afternoon had already passed. Gollum. When Zhu Jiangjiang turned around to look, Tang's stomach rang again. I'm sorry, Master Zhu. Actually, I'm not very hungry either. It's just that my digestive function is too good, said De Tong with a lack of confidence. Zhu Jiangjiang looked at the clock on the wall, which showed 5:45 p.m. The cafeteria was served around 6 p.m. at night, and now it's just in time. It's okay, it's my fault for always forgetting to check the time. Next time when it's time for dinner, you can tell me. Let's push the 87th back first. Facial makeup will be the highlight later, and it won't take more than half an hour to finish. The two of them changed their clothes and went to the cafeteria. They happened to see someone at the table by the door waving at Zhu Jiangjiang. The two sitting opposite each other were both tall, thin. One had fair skin and a gentle demeanor, while the other had square beards and a simple and honest demeanor. They were the other two colleagues, He Wentian and Louis Feng, who worked the same night shift. The night shift has fewer people, and most of them work independently, with tasks evenly distributed, so there is no competition, and the relationships between colleagues are relatively relaxed compared to the morning shift. Zhu Jiangjiang has been working for a few days and occasionally nods to greet them. Master Zhu, hurry up and take a seat. I'll help you cook. De Tong smiled and asked Zhu Jiangjiang for her meal card. Zhu Jiangjiang walked over with a cane and was about to say hello when suddenly a figure carrying a meal hurriedly brushed past her. Like a whirlwind, she slammed the plate and sat in the empty seat in front of her. Sorry, this position is occupied, Lin Anong said apologetically, but without any sense of shame. It seemed extremely hungry, and without looking at Zhu Jiangjiang, he buried his head and started eating. There were 3 people sitting at a table of 4, and the remaining seat was filled with soup due to the excessive force he exerted when shaking the rice tray. I didn't bring any tissues, so it seems I'll have to eat with 2 handsome guys next time. Zhu Jiangjiang saw that Lin Anong still harbored resentment towards her, so he pretended to regret and stuck out his tongue, easing the atmosphere. Okay, we'll have dinner together another day when we have time, he went in and smiled apologetically. After all, the 3 of them have been colleagues for many years. Although Lin Anong no longer works night shifts, he went in and Louis Feng cannot help but sell him this face. Master Zhu, why don't you sit with Master He and the others? When Datong came out with his meal, he didn't see anyone at He Wentian's table. After searching for a while, he saw Zhu Jiangjiang sitting alone on the other side of the cafeteria. My digestive ability is not as good as yours, and I can't eat enough old cured meat, Zhu Jiangjiang said with a smile. Ah. Ignoring the dull expression on Tang's face, Zhu Jiangjiang glanced at He Wentian's table and unexpectedly noticed an additional person in the 4th position. The shawl has large waves, and the slim-fitting rose-red short sleeves set off the snow-white skin with a sparkling jade. Just a silhouette, Zhu Jiangjiang immediately recognized this person as Wang Monli, the flower of the funeral home. Looking around for a week, I didn't see Hong Bin and another colleague in the same group appearing in the cafeteria. I don't know if they are resting or still working overtime. When did these people get together? Wang Monli and He Wentian and others seem to have a good relationship. Although the cafeteria is not large, the laughter like a silver bell can still be heard across 2 lanes. Master Zhu, what are you talking about? Datong leaned in. I didn't say anything, you eat quickly, otherwise you'll have to work overtime again tonight. Zhu Jiangjiang pointed away his big face. After finishing dinner and returning to the Ping'an building, Zhu Jiangjiang began to put on makeup. The craniofacial repair has already been completed before, so it is not complicated to just apply makeup. The special liquid foundation to be used was adjusted with oil paint and foundation make up, and the body concealer work was handed over to Datong. Zhu Jiangjiang focused on his face. The reshaped face exudes an unnatural glow due to the application of white latex. Zhu Jiangjiang adjusted several foundation make-up to try out the color in the photo of number 87 before he finally chose a suitable color number. Number 87 usually wears light makeup, so Zhu Jiangjiang did not choose to apply eye makeup. Her eyebrows and eyelashes were planted before the white emulsion was dry, so there is no need for special treatment. After putting on the base makeup, the 2 sides of the forehead, chin, nose and other parts are swept with a layer of shadow to reduce the false white feeling, and powder blusher is gently thrown on. This time, there's no need to worry about finding lipstick. The family of the 87th sent her favorite lipstick during her lifetime. Because the reshaped lips are relatively hard, it is difficult to apply makeup. Zhu Jiangjiang applied a layer of Vaseline on her lips before gradually filling in the color with a small brush. Finally, put on a wig, put on clothes, and complete the work. Zhu Jiangjiang raised the photo and compared it a few times, confirming that everything was the same as before, and nodded in satisfaction. It's so magical. When I brought it over, I didn't even have any facial features, exclaimed Datong. Let the deceased leave with dignity. That's the meaning of our job, Zhu Jiangjiang smiled. The time was just right, and as usual, when Tang finished cleaning, Zhu Jiangjiang and he left the Ping'an building after work. As she walked downstairs to the dormitory, Zhu Jiangjiang suddenly stopped. Datong, could you please help me pick up that thing? The lights on the roadside were quite dim, and the shadows hanging from the bushes affected the view. Tang bent down and searched for a while before finally seeing what Zhu Jiangjiang had said on the railing at the drainage outlet. That is a set of keys. The keychain is a pink cartoon rabbit, decorated with a golden disc in the middle of its belly, and 2 keys are hanging below. Because the keychain was quite large, it happened to get stuck on the railing when it fell off. Zhu Jiangjiang took the key and carefully examined it to confirm that it was Wang Manli's key. The disc decorated in the middle of the rabbit is rotatable, so it is also called a transport disc. This year is the year of the rabbit. I still remember when Wang Manli first replaced the keychain, she even showed them off. Because this keychain is different from a regular keychain, this transfer tray is made of pure gold with a net weight of 388 grams, which is quite valuable. Is this Master Zhu's key for you? It's quite unique. Please be careful, and it almost fell into the sewer. De Tong asked curiously. It's not mine, it seems to be from a colleague. Zhu Jiangjiang called Wang Manli directly, but the call was answered and immediately hung up. Zhu Jiangjiang continued to call several times, all indicating that it was turned off. She didn't know if it was out of battery, so she could only leave a message for Wang Manli on Lianlian. It's really strange that the keychain is missing. Normally, Wang Manli shouldn't be in a hurry, besides, the key hanging under the keychain is the home key. If she can't go home, where will she sleep tonight? With a heart full of doubts, Zhu Jiangjiang returned to the dormitory. Before going to bed, he looked at his phone and saw an unanswered call, but it was an unknown number. He thought he might have called the wrong number, so he didn't call back. It's past 11 o'clock, forget it. Let's ask tomorrow what's happening on Shichong 101. Zhu Jiangjiang looked at the time and set the alarm before going to bed. Unexpectedly, the next day, before she could send a message, Shichong took the initiative to come to her door. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Investigation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Investigation. Master Zhu, Director. He called you to his office. Security guard Huazi knocked on the door of the beauty room. Zhu Jiangjiang just looked up and responded. Before he could ask anything, the person outside had already disappeared. De Tong, could you please wait and dry the water on number 55's body? Then use alcohol to wipe his whole body again and put it back. I'll go to the office. If it's too long before you come back, you can read a book yourself first. Okay, no problem. Director He's office is in Jixiang building, where the employee lounge and funeral hall are located, not far from Ping'an building. When Zhu Jiangjiang arrived, he saw that there were many people in the office, including Lin Anong, Hong Bin, and others. In addition, there were several police officers. Zhu Jiangjiang is here, right? You go first. The office door was pushed open, and a security guard walked out. The police officer standing by the door waved at Zhu Jiangjiang. Zhu Jiangjiang pushed the door in and saw two police officers sitting behind the office desk. They were Shichong and his colleagues, while Director He was not present. There was also a lightweight video recorder standing next to them. Miss Zhu, sit down and don't be nervous. Let's ask a few questions and you can cooperate. Shichong smiled and pointed to the seat in front of him. Do you know Wang Manli? What is your relationship with her? Shichong asked, while the other police officer remained silent and was responsible for recording. I know. We were colleagues who used to work the morning shift together, but after I was transferred to the night shift, I rarely met because of time constraints and didn't socialize much in private, Zhu Jiangjiang replied. When was the last time I saw Wang Manli and why did I call her? Shichong continued to ask. When he heard that Zhu Jiangjiang had picked up the key near the dormitory building, he clearly became particularly concerned. Where is the key now? Do you remember when I picked it up? In my bag, I left it in the changing room. Can I go get it for you now? I don't quite remember the exact time I found the key, but as soon as I found it, I called Wang Manli. Let me see, around 8:30 a.m. Zhu Jiangjiang opened her phone and showed Shichong the chat records between her and Wang Manli on Lianlian. After reading it, Shichong asked Zhu Jiangjiang a few more questions. Seeing that she was having difficulty walking, he took the initiative to accompany her to get the keys, intending to take a look at the location of the dormitory building. I'll accompany Miss Zhu on a trip. It's up to you and Wei Li to come in and help you. Shi Chong patted his colleague's shoulder. Zhu Jiangjiang leaned on a cane and walked slowly, with Shi Chong following behind her. She lowered her head and sent a text message on her phone, unsure of what she was busy with. After walking for a while, Zhu Jiangjiang couldn't help but ask. How is number 101? Have the autopsy results come out yet? Seeing that Shi Chong didn't respond immediately, she added, if it's not convenient to tell me, I'm just a little curious. In theory, I shouldn't have told you, but thanks to your meticulousness this time, I can only tell you that you guessed right, she didn't die from an electric shock. Shi Chong pondered. Is she poisoned? Seeing the surprised expression on Shi Chong's face, Zhu Jiangjiang knew he had guessed right and continued, is it a neurotoxin? How did you know, Dr. Yang told you? Now Shi Chong was shocked and didn't know what to say. But upon careful consideration, this is simply impossible. Dr. Yang has been engaged in forensic medicine for more than 30 years, and he is very clear about what to say and what not to say. It is impossible for him to make such a low-level mistake. I guessed. Zhu Jiangjiang gave a sly smile. This guess does carry a bit of luck. Mainly because Shi Chong expressed gratitude for her thoughtfulness at the beginning, Zhu Jiangjiang ruled out hidden diseases. Then, taking into account the situation at the time of the body, Zhu Jiangjiang boldly made a guess, as he wanted to satisfy the condition of being able to make people feel pain and have a quick attack, while also satisfying the condition of not being noticed in front of everyone. You guessed. So capable, why don't you guess how the deceased was poisoned and who the culprit was? Shi Chong said. You probably haven't figured out how the deceased got poisoned yet, have you? Zhu Jiangjiang lightly covered her mouth, pretending to be surprised. The lung fluid extracted the day before yesterday, and the laboratory test results only came out today. How do I have time to investigate how the deceased was poisoned? Speaking of this, Shi Chong also had a gloomy expression on his face. Before the matter of the 101st was resolved, Wang Monli had an accident. She was really lacking in skills. I haven't even seen the scene, so let me guess. They don't even know what's going on at the scene. Do you really consider them immortals? Zhu Jiangjiang thought to herself. It's as if you can guess just by showing it to you. Shi Chong glanced at Zhu Jiangjiang and saw her calculations. I don't know why she is so interested in this case, but he still decided to quickly end the topic. Show me the photos of the scene, maybe I'll guess again. This will also save you time, won't it? Seeing that Shi Chong was not moved, Zhu Jiangjiang continued to persuade, Wang Monli's case is not small. Poisoning, due to the lack of witnesses, is often one of the most difficult criminal methods to solve. Incident 101 has been going on for several days, and the longer it drags on, the more thoroughly the evidence disappears. Officer Shi has such a sense of justice, and you don't want the murderer to escape, do you? No matter what information you learn in the case, you must keep it confidential and cannot tell anyone. If you find any clues, you can tell me. You cannot act on your own. Can you do this? Shi Chong didn't ask her why she knew about Wang Monli's matter, and when asked for confirmation, he said it was a guess. It's a deal. When Zhu Jiangjiang dug out Wang Monli's key from the bag and handed it to Shi Chong, he saw that he didn't directly reach out and instead opened an evidence bag, indicating that Zhu Jiangjiang threw the key directly into it. Wang Monli won't die, will she? I guessed all the way, and this was the worst-case scenario. You're so smart, didn't you guess earlier? Wang Monli's death is of great significance, and Shi Chong does not want to easily leak the news before catching the murderer. Afraid of being accidentally tricked by Zhu Jiangjiang later, he quickly took out his phone to divert Zhu Jiangjiang's attention. This is a photo of the party scene where the incident occurred on the day of the 101st. There are a total of 5 photos, 4 of which were taken by bystanders with their phones, as they were not treated as murder cases at the time and there was not much evidence left. Among them, the most valuable is a live performance video shot. At that time, most people were in or around the swimming pool, while number 101 performed on the platform built in front of the pool. On the platform, a flower shed was built with dazzling colored lights. Under the flower shed, there was a transparent bathtub filled with foam and colored balls. At the time of the incident, number 101 was dancing in the bubble bath, watching videos with normal facial expressions. Suddenly, a wire accidentally fell, and within a few seconds, the person disappeared. It does look like an electric shock, no wonder no one suspects it. Zhu Jiangjiang kept playing the video of the moment and the number 101 was on the brink of death repeatedly, and finally she froze the time in the 2 seconds before the wire fell. Look at her expression. At that time, number 101 was originally making a provocative gesture by raising her hand, but in that moment, her hand suddenly fell and scraped against the edge of the bathtub. In the video, only the side face could be captured, but Zhu Jiangjiang felt that the expression on number 101's head at this moment was not like joy, but more like pain. But because everything happened too quickly, the wires suddenly fell into the water, and she didn't even have time to scream. Because it was determined that it was an accidental electric shock at the time, there was no evidence preserved at the scene, and the water in the bathtub had long run out. Shi Chong frowned. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Hong Bin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Hong Bin. May I ask what type of neurotoxin is in her? Zhu Jiangjiang asked. I couldn't detect it, but it can be confirmed that this toxin has a rapid onset and is very toxic. In addition to pulmonary edema, the deceased also had severe kidney failure. We have checked the stomach contents and there are no issues with the food. Is there anything else in the extract of her lung fluid besides toxins? Zhu Jiangjiang kept tapping the screen, unsure of what he was thinking. There are also marine diatoms, and it is speculated that there may be seawater in the bathtub. I don't know if this is a special situation. One more thing I can tell you is that on the day of the incident, my friend on the 10th said she wanted to take a leave because she was feeling unwell. Later, because the company didn't approve it, she took antipyretic medication and went up. Shi Chong didn't expect Zhu Jiangjiang to infer any issues from the photos. After all, 5 days have passed and many pieces of evidence no longer exist. He was just about to ask Zhu Jiangjiang to take her to the vicinity of the dormitory for a look, but he didn't expect Zhu Jiangjiang to suddenly speak up. I think you can find a way to see if you can find this ball. Zhu Jiangjiang flipped the video forward for more than 10 seconds and froze it on a racket motion. It can be clearly seen that at the moment when number 101 was hitting the ball, the balloon burst and her hand suddenly retracted, but soon resumed dancing as if nothing had happened, so this frame was easily overlooked. Neurotoxins are present not only in snakes, but also in some jellyfish. Common antipyretic drugs are nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which not only reduce fever but also have certain analgesic effects. I suspect that by 12.26, number 101 had already been poisoned, but with the help of painkillers, her pain sensation had eased. It wasn't until 12.42 that the pain was severe and the effects of the painkillers couldn't be suppressed. However, at that time, severe pulmonary edema and organ failure had made it difficult for her to call for help. Coincidentally, an accident occurred when the wire fell, and the truth was covered up. Zhu Jiangjiang handed the phone back to Shi Chong, and seeing him pondering, he continued. Next to Qinglong is Shanghai. There are numerous coral reefs outside Shanghai, and one of the most famous attractions is called Jellyfish Eye. Jellyfish in Jellyfish Eye are non-toxic, but in some areas of Shanghai where private diving is prohibited, highly toxic jellyfish live, such as the Irukandji jellyfish, one of the world's most poisonous jellyfish. Unable to find a tool for transmitting toxins, finding what kind of poison it is also a way to find the true culprit. For example, if it is really a highly toxic jellyfish, if you want to get it, you must buy it from someone, and it's impossible to catch it yourself. Zhu Jiangjiang didn't say these words again. She believed that Shi Chong also understood. Anyway, she has said everything she needs to say, and even if she can't find the real culprit, she has no choice. After wandering around the dormitory building, Shi Chong felt very strange. Without him, the dormitory building is located at the innermost part of all the buildings in the funeral home, opposite the cafeteria and completely opposite the entrance of the funeral home. People who want to go home, no matter how they go, cannot pass by here by chance. There were not many surveillance cameras near the dormitory building, and the road that turned in happened to be a dead end. There was nothing to see, so Shi Chong turned his gaze to the surveillance cameras in the corridor of the dormitory building. No need to look, the surveillance cameras in the dormitory building are all fake. I've been living here for so long and haven't seen them running, said Zhu Jiangjiang. Okay, it's understandable, after all, no one can steal into the funeral home. Moreover, the location of the dormitory building is still so remote, and if something is lost, it is likely an insider, so naturally no one is as foolish as that. Before the dormitory, besides me, there were only a few security guards and interns living there. I don't know why Wang Monli came over, but Hong Bin, who used to be in my group, suddenly applied for the dormitory 2 months ago. He has always had a good relationship with Wang Monli, and I don't know if she came to find him. Seeing that Shi Chong's eyes lit up and he wanted to continue asking, Zhu Jiangjiang quickly stopped him. I'm really not familiar with Wang Monli, that's all I know. If you have any further questions, go ask Hong Bin, don't say I said it. It's getting late, we're still waiting on the 55th. If we don't hurry back to work, we'll definitely have to work overtime again today. Alright, anything about Wang Monli, feel free to message me anytime you think of it. I have taken note of the situation you just mentioned on January 1st, and I will find a way to find that ball first. I will check back and find out the result before telling you. Thank you today, Shi Chong smiled. Farewell to Shi Chong. Zhu Jiangjiang slowly walked back to the Ping-An building, chewing on Shi Chong's words carefully. Anything. Zhu Jiangjiang felt that Shi Chong was very nervous about Wang Monli's case. When she mentioned that Wang Monli's matter was not small, the expression on Shi Chong's face was clearly in agreement. So the question is, what exactly happened to Wang Monli in just one night that would make an elite member of the Municipal Public Security Bureau feel like something was going on? When Zhu Jiangjiang returned, he saw Tang dozing on the bench in the changing room, with a thick anatomy textbook covering his face. Unexpectedly, Zhu Jiangjiang suddenly returned, and Tang was so shocked that he flipped over and almost rolled to the ground. Sorry, Master Zhu. I'll go and bring over VIP 55 right away. The 55th is an elderly person who unfortunately passed away due to sudden cerebral hemorrhage. His last wish is to see his grandchildren who are studying in another city for the last time. Due to struggling in the hospital bed for several days, the elderly person who had lost vital signs suffered from facial pain, and his entire head was swollen severely. His trachea was also cut open due to being previously connected to a respirator. Zhu Jiangjiang asked Detong to bring a basin and guide it with the largest needle, inserting a tube into the skull of number 55 to drain blood. It wasn't until around 500 milliliters of blood were discharged that 55's face gradually returned to normal. Number 7, round needle. Detong neatly picked out the thread that Zhu Jiangjiang needed, opened the packaging, and handed it to her hand. Zhu Jiangjiang held tweezers and first sewed up the inner layer of the trachea. Then I changed the angle needle, aligned it left and right, and skillfully closed the incision on my throat using the intradermal suture method. After everything was done, she applied a thin layer of Vaseline to the cheeks and neck of number 55, allowing his furrowed brows and eyes to relax and his skin to slightly shine before starting to apply makeup to him. Master Zhu, after applying Vaseline and putting it in the refrigerator, won't Vaseline clump? Detong asked with some confusion. It's possible, so Vaseline should not be applied too thick. If applied a little thinner, it's not a problem. If not applied, the skin will be too dry and the makeup will not feel natural. It's best to go to the funeral after putting on makeup, but if you can't do the body repair on the same day, it's too rushed. Zhu Jiangjiang faces the picture, prepares liquid foundation and gently brushes it off on number 55 face. A man's makeup is relatively simple, just draw it healthy and naturally. However, the denture number 55 cannot be worn during cremation and has been removed prematurely, causing the lips to sink inward. Zhu Jiangjiang thought for a moment and then used vulcanized latex mixed with cotton wool to make a curved circular plate. She gently placed it under her lips, making them naturally plump. After asking Datong to send back the 55th, Zhu Jiangjiang went to the dressing room to change clothes as it was getting late. Unexpectedly, as soon as she entered the changing room, she was startled. Hong Bin. Why are you here? End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Secrets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Secrets I. Hong Bin opened his mouth and rubbed his face with some annoyance, seeming unsure of what to say. The sturdy figure wandered around the changing room, creating a somewhat oppressive atmosphere. Wang Monli is dead, do you know? Looking at the suddenly enlarged face in front of her, as well as the faint smell of alcohol on his body, Zhu Jiangjiang put away the phone she was playing with a little guilty. How did you know? The police told you. I know if they don't say it, otherwise they would have to go through the surveillance footage of the funeral home as soon as they come over. They also ask questions one by one. I know that there must be something wrong with Manly. Since last night until now, her phone has been unreachable. She hasn't come to work or taken leave. Hong Bin seemed very irritable, and as soon as he spoke, he couldn't help but walk back and forth in the changing room. It must be Lin Anong who did it. Monli has been doing well before, but since he came, Monli has started to be abnormal. She didn't tell me anything and disliked me. Last night was the same. I didn't expect it. I used to think that Hong Bin, an honest person, was hot-headed, but now it seems like he's not. Zhu Jiangjiang was perking up his ears, hoping that Hong Bin would reveal more secrets. Unexpectedly, Hong Bin suddenly leaned over and said, the police don't know why they found out that Wang Monli was in the dormitory last night. You need to help me keep it a secret, Jiangjiang. Ah. Why? We can't let them know that Monli has been to my dormitory. The cameras in the dormitory are all broken. Just say that Monli has been to your dormitory and left soon. The police won't ask so many questions. Hong Bin even thought about how to deal with it for Zhu Jiangjiang. The problem is that everyone knows that Mary and I don't have a very good relationship on a regular basis. How could she possibly go to the dormitory to find me? Besides, why does she go to the dormitory to find me? Can't she say something when she's at work? No matter how hard you make up this excuse. Seeing Hong Bin's face becoming increasingly gloomy, Zhu Jiangjiang said and simply closed his mouth. My girlfriend is pregnant, and we agreed to get married by the end of the year. Hong Bin punched the locker in the changing room, besides, Mary is dead now. It's better to have one less thing than one more thing, understand? This must have been done by Lin Anong. He saw that Monli was beautiful, but unfortunately he had a wife. Monli had already said that she wouldn't be someone else's mistress. Woo-woo, Monli, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have hit you, it's all my fault. I just love you too much, I'm jealous. Hong Bin said as he suddenly crouched on the ground, covering his face and crying. Wang Monli, you are really skilled at it, Zhu Jiangjiang muttered inwardly, searching for a way to escape in his mind. It is definitely impossible to agree, because the fact that Wang Monli went to the dormitory to meet with Hong Bin was inadvertently revealed by her. Although Shi Chong could keep it a secret, there is no wall that cannot be sealed. Looking at Hong Bin's current mental state, who knows if he will blame her for playing with him and throwing her into the incinerator after learning the truth. How do you know it was Lin Anong who did it? Zhu Jiangjiang said casually. It was Lin Anong who did it, and I saw it all. I didn't sleep last night, and I went to work around 2 o'clock today. I thought I could apologize to Monli when she arrived and be the first person to greet her. I saw Lin Anong secretly pushing things into the incinerator to burning for a long time, and even scraping some ash out of it. What do you think it is? At this point, Hongbin lifted his head, his eyes bloodshot, staring at Zhu Jiangjiang with a sinister expression, as if she were Lin Anong. At this moment, the door to the changing room was knocked on. Master Zhu, have you changed your clothes yet? Why has it been so long today? I've finished cleaning the outside. The sound of the Tang dynasty rang out at the right time, making Zhu Jiangjiang breathe a sigh of relief. Interrupted by someone, Hongbin seemed to have no intention of continuing to confide. He stood up and walked towards the outside of the changing room. When passing by Zhu Jiangjiang's side, he spoke sincerely. I know you've always thought that Monli was not good to you, but she's actually a very kind and sincere girl, just too straightforward. I didn't hurt Monli, I'm not afraid of the police's suspicion, I just don't want to waste their time and delay catching the real culprit. Let's have a fight together. If you're still thinking about your past relationship, don't speak recklessly. After speaking, he quickly opened the door to the changing room and left. Master Zhu, who is this? Detong stretched his neck and asked. A deep well ice, I remember to stay away from him recently. Don't tell him about the day we found the key. After finishing the recording of the phone, Zhu Jiangjiang bent down and reinserted the pipe and safety buckle in his hand back into the fire extinguisher. Looking back, he saw Tang looking confused. Don't ask why, go out quickly, I need to change clothes. A few days later, Zhu Jiangjiang received an invitation from Shichong, saying that there had been progress on the 101st incident and asking if she was interested in going to the Public Security Bureau to witness it. After looking at the bare branches of the life tree, Zhu Jiangjiang immediately decided to attend the appointment. Lin Zihan, come out for a moment. Here we go. As Shichong's words fell, a young man with a baby face ran out of the office of the criminal investigation team. The mullet fish has a head, a short ponytail tied behind its head, and runs while stuffing its toast into its mouth. Where are the 2 people you brought back this morning? Shichong asked. In interrogation room 3, Lin Zihan replied, curiously glancing at Zhu Jiangjiang. This is my friend, and this case involving Shen Honghong is the clue she provided. Shichong Fan looked at the documents compiled by Lin Zihan. Hello. My surname is Zhu Jiangjiang. You can call me Jiangjiang. Zhu Jiangjiang smiled and introduced herself. She recognized at a glance that the doll face in front of her was one of the police officers who had been to the funeral home a few days ago. At this moment, the 3rd interrogation room arrived. Pushing open the door, there is still a room inside, separated by single-dot-sided translucent glass, with a passage left in the middle. Through the single-dot-sided glass, Zhu Jiangjiang saw 2 girls sitting inside, probably in their 20s, dressed in fashionable clothes and not knowing what they were talking about. I've searched for that balloon, but I can't find it. The bathtub was also sold, and after we retrieved it, we took some substances from the back of the bathtub's drain cover for testing. In addition to DNA samples from multiple people, we also discovered a special set of genetic data, which is from the highly toxic irukandji jellyfish. After molecular sequence comparison, it was confirmed that it matches the type of neurotoxin in lung fluid number 101. Shichong handed the tablet in his hand to Zhu Jiangjiang, gesturing for her to flip through it on her own. There are several points where you can buy irukandji jellyfish in Shanghai, which are difficult to find aimlessly. After excluding online shopping, I used big data to cross-compare and found that in the month before the incident, a total of 12 people had visited or passed through Shanghai at the party, 3 of whom had visited Shanghai's island. Then, by checking the various live broadcast footage and surveillance footage of the party, I locked the suspicion on these 2 people. End of this chapter.